Water balance. Water intake. Water balance describes the balance between total water intake and water loss. In order to measure our water intake, we need to think about more than the actual glasses of water we drink. Many other liquids, as well as solid foods, contain substantial amounts of water and thus contribute to our total water intake. Fruits and vegetables, for example, are at least 80% water. The same is true for various other beverages, such as milk, soda, and fruit juices. By contrast, potato chips, crackers, and chocolate contain less than 10% water. The water content of most other foods lies somewhere in between. Total water intake for most individuals hovers around 2 liters per day, but is quite variable depending on people's eating habits and fluid ingestion. Some people may barely ingest 1 liter of water, whereas other people easily reach 2 to 3 liters per day. Due to excess water loss, people living in hot climates need to ingest copious amounts of water. Water loss. Our bodies lose water mainly via 4 routes: urine, sweat, exhaled air, and stools. The loss of water through each of these routes can vary a lot depending on the circumstances. Excess water loss can lead to dehydration if not compensated for by increased water intake. A crude estimate for the amount of daily water loss through stools is about 150 milliliters, a little over 5 ounces. Loss of water through stools is greatly elevated in subjects suffering from diarrhea. Chronic diarrhea carries a risk of severe dehydration, which can be life-threatening, especially in children. Chronic diarrhea is common in underdeveloped countries and is often caused by gastrointestinal infections. Water loss through the skin, caused by sweating and evaporation, can vary from as little as several hundred milliliters per day to 5 liters or more, depending on the climate. Loss of water via the skin is greatly increased with hot temperatures and is further elevated when doing strenuous physical activity. For this reason, the risk of excess water loss and subsequent dehydration is much higher in a hot climate as compared to a cold climate. Dehydration is a serious risk for people that engage in heavy physical exercise under hot conditions if they don't pay careful attention to their fluid intake. The air that we exhale is saturated with water. That's why a mirror fogs up when you breathe on it. As a consequence, every breath you take will result in loss of water from the body. Over the course of 24 hours, the amount of water lost through our lungs is estimated at 300 to 400 milliliters, but can differ somewhat depending on the humidity and thus the water content of the inhaled air. Most of our daily water loss occurs through urine. Urine is produced in the kidneys and stored in the bladder. The kidneys can adjust urine production in order to maintain water balance via an intricate system of hormones referred to as the renin-angiotensin system. The system will lead to the excess production of urine when fluid ingestion is high and overall water intake exceeds loss of water through the stools, lungs, and skin. Conversely, the system will curtail urine production when water losses exceed water intake. The renin-angiotensin system allows the body to maintain water balance except under the most extreme conditions.